Alright, hello everyone, Simon here. Welcome back to the Minecraft Trains project. I've been thinking about what to do with the inside of this fortress, and I think I'm just gonna fill most of it in. Because, one, that's how real fortresses are gonna be, and two, it's kinda supposed to feel cramped on the inside, right? It's not supposed to be spacious, it is a fortress after all. I need some windows here, maybe like iron bars actually. Not glass, because glass will shatter when you get hit by artillery. So let's go ahead and iron bars this up. Alright, very flavorful. And yeah, so I guess a lot of today is just going to be filling in the underside of the fortress with the stone bricks. I guess the inside shouldn't be mossy. The outside is mossy, the inside shouldn't be mossy. Right, so there's that, and then stone bricks underneath. So all of this stuff, all the side stuff is gonna be completely filled in stone bricks. Or at least that's the plan. Stone bricks? Maybe not the floor, actually. But the walls, most definitely. And we want this to be cramped, like crowded. Let me think about that part. So this part, at the very least, is going to like... I need to make sure I get this right. Oh no, it's super dark in here. I can't see anything. Actually, it is actually super dark in here. It is a proper fortress. I have to fill it all the way in there. Yeah, a lot of this is going to be just solid. Make sure we get all the little spaces underneath. Into there, and then crap, and then like get that filled in. I think that's right. I don't think there's a gap in there. It's so dark. Oops. Right, very good. Hey Hava. I have decided that most of the underside of the crab is gonna be filled in. So here I am, filling it in. Um, Great. Slowly getting there. In a real fortress, basically the giant mass of stone is what's gonna block the, or even just giant mass of earth is what's gonna block the cannons, the cannon fire. Like it's just mass. It's just a solid mass of stuff. Which, I mean, for a while, just solid mass is how you do any sort of armor. Kind of. There are exceptions. More recently, there's more active defenses. Like modern tanks have reactive armor, specially designed to dissipate the energy of incoming rockets. I mean, it's pretty advanced these days. The rockets are specifically designed to cut steel armor, right? And then the armor is specifically designed to stop the cutting action of the rockets. It's very specific these days, like armor and weapons. But used to be, it's just mass, right? You have a guy in a steel suit on one side, and then you have a guy with a steel mace on the other. It's just mass versus mass. Not very sophisticated. I mean, there's some skill involved, I guess, when you are in hand-to-hand combat. But for the most part, like, just the sheer mass of metal is what does the work. Having said that, so the star forts, the shape of the star is designed so that the walls of the fort can be covered by cannon fire. And it does rely a little bit on active defense. Like if there are no cannons, the star fort doesn't do anything. Like if the cannons are not manned, the star fort doesn't really do anything, especially since the star fort, in order to stand against artillery, it is low and it is wide. And because it is low, it is very easy to just climb over the walls. So it has to be actively defended by guys with guns and cannons, otherwise people just climb over it. Whereas the old castles with the you know, high vertical walls, even if it's not really actively defended, it's still quite difficult to climb over. Like you have to get a long ladder or get a long rope or something. Like the active component of the defense is not as great. The Great Wall of China, I don't know if I've talked about this very much previously. The Great Wall of China, it's not really a defensive wall the way you might imagine. I mean, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. I mean, it is a wall, but the wall doesn't stop people. Right? If you want to climb over it, you can climb over it. It's not that, like, the wall's not that tall. What the Great Wall actually is it is a series of guardhouses on the border. And then the wall is a road over the mountains. I mean, climbing mountains is a real pain in the ass. But the top of the wall is basically a road that links up all the guardhouses on the length of the wall. And then every so often there's signal towers that you can like light signal fires. And so signal fires will propagate a signal across the entire wall very quickly. And also you can send runners on the top of the wall. And then the last component of the wall is that it stops horses. So if you're on foot, you can climb over the wall quite easily. Like, it's not that hard to climb over the wall, it's not very tall. But if you have a horse, which, you know, to the north of China, you have like Mongolia, and you have those nomadic peoples with horses. Getting the horse over the wall is more complicated than just climbing over it. So that's what the Great Wall actually is. It slows down the horses. It is a series of watchtowers, signal towers, and guardhouses. Where, like, the guardhouses, they don't really guard. They're more like sentries. They're sentry towers, sentry posts, and they basically watch the border. And if the you know, anyone tries to come across the wall, they will just send a signal to get help. And the wall itself doesn't really stop anyone, right? If you want to get across, you can get across. but they'll send for help, and then they'll send an army to come deal with the invasion. It's basically early warning. That's all it is. The Great War is mostly just early warning. And so there's a lot of like studies and like historical studies that talk about how the Great War didn't actually stop any of the invasions. Yeah, no, it's not really. It was never really supposed to stop the invasions. It was really supposed to slow people down and provide early warning. This should be mossy. Into here. Not sure if that should be mossy, maybe. And then when we get to here, it's no longer mossy. That should be lower. In fact, I think Hadrian's War up near Scotland is the same thing as the Great War. Like, it's not really a defensive war. It's more like a line in the ground and early warning. Let me just look it up, Hadrian's War. Wikipedia, Hadrian's War. Covered the width of the whole island. A medieval historian wrote the wall to be standing at 12 feet high. 12 feet high. I mean, if a dude is 6 feet, it's like the size of two dudes. Like, it's not really, because if it's the height of two dudes, you just have like one guy standing on the shoulders of the other guy and they can get over it. It's like, it's not that hard to climb over Hadrian's Wall either, like it's only 12 feet. Would it really stop anyone? Not really, right? You just have like dudes standing on each other's shoulders and you're across. Like, it's more a pain in the ass. Like, it's more to stop horses. It's to slow people down a little bit. It's mostly just a line in the ground, right? Just a line in the sand. But yeah, the early warning is most of the function. If you have like guard posts, guard houses, signal towers, and roads, then people can send for help as soon as they see somebody trying to get across.